Welcome to Safe Again, a mind, body, soul reset for the phobia tired. Module 5, Rewriting Your Fear, Shifting Your Imagination from Catastrophe to Empowerment. Thank you for being here. We're starting on time. My name's Julie, and I'll be leading today's module. If you have any questions, feel free to hold on to them and I'll answer them at the end. This is a safe space, so do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Keep your camera on or off, grab a glass of water, or take a break if needed. No pressure, just take what you need. As a wise man once said, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. When it comes to phobias, it's easy for our minds to blow things out of proportion, imagining danger in situations that are, in reality, harmless. But today, we're here to change that. Together, we'll begin to shift from that fear-based thinking towards a more empowered, positive outlook, one where your imagination works for you and helps you reclaim control. Module 5, Rewiring Your Fear, Shifting Your Imagination from Catastrophe to Empowerment. Alex had long been overwhelmed by a phobia of crowded places. Every time he entered a busy space, his heart would pound, his thoughts would spiral into catastrophe. Deep down, Alex knew his fear was irrational. He understood that his mind was reacting to imagined threats, and he longed for a way to regain control. The journey began with rebuilding self-confidence. Alex started by focusing on ego strengthening, a process recommended by experts. He worked with therapists to recognize his strengths, celebrated small victories, reminding him that he was smart, capable, and resilient. Gradually, Alex's inner voice grew stronger and he began to feel more in control of his reactions. Next came a phase of gentle confrontation, in vitro systematic desensitization. Instead of facing overwhelming reality of a crowded space, Alex and his therapist created a mental ladder of fearful scenarios. They started small with images of mildly busy areas and slowly moved to more challenging situations, all with the safety of his imagination. With each step, Alex used relaxation techniques to ease his anxiety, and over time, his mind learned to associate these previously terrorizing images with calm control rather than panic. To reinforce these new patterns, Alex was introduced to a visual-kinesthetic disassociation. Through guided visualization exercises, he learned to separate the raw physical sensations of fear from the images in his mind. It was as if he could watch his own fear from a distance, allowing him to reframe his experience with fresh eyes. This technique worked like editing a film, cutting out scenes of panic and replacing them with empowering narratives. Together, these methods, ego strengthening and in viro systematic desensitization and visual kinesthetic disassociation, helped Alex rewrite his internal script. He shifted from a state where his imagination magnified his fears to one where it empowered him to envision a life without paralyzing anxiety. Today, as we begin Module 5, Rewiring Your Fear, Shifting Your Imagination from Catastrophe to Empowerment, I invite you to embark on a similar journey. Like Alex, you have the power to rebuild your inner strength, gently confront your phobias in your mind, and reframe your experiences into a narrative of empowerment. This module is your invitation to transform the way you interact with fear, turning it from an insurmountable barrier into a stepping stone towards a brighter, more confident future. Let's begin this transformative process together. Why am I even talking to you about this? Because phobias don't mean you're broken. They mean your imagination has been hijacked by fear and it's time to reclaim it. You are smart and capable. Phobias don't form because you're weak. They form because your mind's powerful. You've got logic, creativity, and survival instincts firing all at once. The trick is learning how to steer the imagination side when it starts spinning out. You can turn down the catastrophe and write a new scene. Your reactions are just patterns. That gut punch fear, the racing thoughts, muscle tension, they're not permanent. They're learned responses, rituals your mind and body have rehearsed. Like any script, they can be rewritten. That old fear loop doesn't define you. You're already outgrowing it. You have the right to change. If you're here, still participating, still curious, it means that you're ready. And that discomfort, it's your inner world nudging you forward. You deserve a version of your life where imagination lifts you up instead of dragging you into panic. You don't need to be ruled by fear. You can rewrite the pattern, and your subconscious is listening. Before we dive into creativity and imagination, let's talk about phobias. So what are we really talking about here? Before we explore your creative potential, let's pause and ask, what would it feel like to imagine freely without whispering in the background? Phobias are more than just fears. They can hijack your imagination, locking you into worst-case scenarios, looping the same mental movie until it feels real. That kind of mental rehearsal trains your nervous system to expect danger, even when you're safe. But what if that energy, the vividness, the focus, the intensity was redirected? What if imagination was used to create freedom? For some, that means finally thinking clearly without panic. For others, it's about using imagination as a bridge to healing, visualizing safety, calm, new possibilities where phobias once stood. And as you sort through ideas on how to be more creative or face your fears, remember, not all advice is equal. Experts in psychology and neuroscience can offer deep insights, but your own inner guidance matters too. You know what resonates. You know when something feels true. This moment isn't about fixing yourself. It's about freeing the part of you that's been trapped in a fear loop for too long. Creativity begins when you stop rehearsing catastrophe and start imagining something better. Let's begin here. Let's begin with possibility. About me, I'm Julie, a clinical hypnotherapist, a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, and a life coach. I work with the mind and subconscious to help you unlock your true potential. Phobia has a pattern. You've probably heard of phobias like fear of flying, needles, heights, spiders, or public speaking. But did you know phobias can show up in more hidden ways too, like cults or high control groups? Some groups actually use phobia deliberately as a form of control. They implant terrifying thoughts. If you ever leave, something terrible will happen. These messages are so vivid and emotional that they sink deep into the subconscious mind. And once they're there, the brain reacts as if they're real, just like any other phobia. Suddenly, someone can't even imagine life outside the group, not because they're weak, but because their imagination has been hijacked by fear. And that's the thing with phobias, they follow a pattern. I panic just seeing a spider, even a picture. My mind jumps to the worst case scenario instantly. I know it's not rational, but it feels massive. I'm always scanning for my fear, planning around it. I rearrange my life to stay away from it. It affects me even when there's no real danger. Even thinking about it makes my heart race. These patterns aren't new, they're learned. They're wired into your system by repetition, emotion, and imagination. But here's the good news. If imagination helped build the fear, it can also unbuild it. Once you spot the pattern, you can start to shift it, not overnight, but with time, with support and small, consistent rewiring. You can teach your imagination to work for you instead of against you. You can feel free again. Let's start by giving your mind something new to believe in, something that feels like freedom. Let's take a moment to explore how your subconscious mind is running the show right now. You're breathing, blinking, your heart's beating without you needing to think about it. It's all happening on autopilot. Your emotions, often they're running on autopilot too. Imagine this. Let's say we spend a year thinking about just jelly beans, not eating them, just counting them every day over and over. Sounds silly, but here's the point. Your brain and body would start responding to that repetitive thought. When you focus on something, your brain sends signals to create emotional chemical responses that match that focus. Over time, those chemicals shape how your body feels, and your body builds little receptor sites to welcome more of that same feeling. So your brain has been stuck on counting jelly beans or anything repetitive and slightly obsessive. Your body adapts to that pattern, even if it doesn't feel good. Now let's flip the story. Instead of counting jelly beans, what if we spend a year focusing on joy or calm or confidence? Guess what? Same process kicks in, but now you're building new emotional patterns that support you. Your brain starts releasing feel-good chemicals. Your body builds new receptor sites. You begin to feel the shift before you fully understand it. Here's the takeaway. Your mind and body are always talking to each other. When you feed your mind positive, supportive thoughts, your entire system responds. Yes, past experiences, especially fearful ones, can create loops that are hard to break, but that same pattern that got wired for fear can be rewired for freedom, calm, and strength. It starts with awareness, with intention, then practice, and little by little, you begin shifting your inner world until it starts reflecting on the outside too. Here's the good news. As Earl Nightingale said in The Strangest Secret, the human mind is much like a farmer's land. The land gives the farmer a choice. He may plant whatever he chooses. The land doesn't care what is planted. It's up to the farmer to decide. The mind, like the land, will return whatever you plant. If you plant corn, you get corn. If you plant nightshade or poison, you get nightshade. It's the same with our minds. We can plant success or failure, good or evil, confusion or clarity. But what we plant, we get back. In other words, your mind doesn't judge. It simply grows what you plant. How to start shifting it. Before we wrap up, I'd love to invite you into a short guided hypnosis session. You don't need to close your eyes unless that feels right. Just allow yourself to tune out the outside world for a moment and gently turn inward. If you're not ready for it or it's not your thing, that's completely okay too. Just start listening with an open heart. That can be just as powerful. The track is called Space Beyond Fear. It's designed to softly remind your nervous system that it's okay to relax. You're safe now. Healing's already happening. The future holds light. So when you're in, let's begin. Take a slow, steady breath in. Feel the air expand in your chest. Lift your ribs. Fill your lungs with calm. And now let it go. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind float as though it's drifting on water. With each breath, imagine tension draining from your muscles, melting through your fingers, sliding off your back, dissolving beneath your feet. There's nothing you need to chase, no performance, no pressure, just presence. In this calm, quiet space, I want you to picture yourself standing at the edge of a soft, glowing field. Not a cliff, not a cage, but a boundary your fear once drew in the sand. Beyond it is light, shimmering, warm, alive, and here you are strong, curious, and your feet firmly planted on the earth. You've created this fear like a heavy satchel clung across your shoulders. Maybe it once protected you like a guard dog barking at the shadows, but now you can choose to put it down. You can place it gently on the ground like a worn-out coat. Imagine stepping forward, even half a step just in your mind, and in that step, feel the shift. Notice how your breath deepens, your heart steadies, and your awareness sharpens. Let that space that fear once filled now become a garden of new thoughts. Let it bloom with possibility, courage, curiosity, clarity, safety, freedom. See them grow. Each word a blossom, each feeling a ripple, each belief a seed taking root in the soil of your subconscious. You can picture yourself climbing onto a plane, getting an injection, standing tall at the edge of a building, and this time you notice something different. You're breathing, you are grounded, you are calm. You're not frozen, you're choosing. You're not helpless, you're rewiring. You're not stuck, you're shifting. Let's anchor this moment with a simple phrase. I can imagine something better. Say it in your mind like a mantra and let it echo like a soft drumbeat. I can imagine something better. I can imagine something stronger. I can imagine something new. These aren't just words, they're instructions sent through your neural pathways to broadcast to your cells, whispered to your nervous system like a lullaby. And as you breathe, you're building new connections. As you relax, your brain rewires. As you imagine, your body responds. And when you're ready, just begin to return. Wriggle your fingers, stretch out, roll your neck, blink gently and come back into the room. Carry this with you. Your imagination is powerful. Your fear is never your destiny. You are free to choose a new path. Welcome back. You did fabulously. Thank you for being fully present and opening yourself up today. As you may already feel, the hypnosis session has gently guided you into a space of deep inner calm and healing. Having already experienced that shift, we now mark the completion of Module 5, Rewiring Your Fear, Shifting Your Imagination from Catastrophe to Empowerment. Thank you for completing the journey. Congratulations, you've completed all 5 modules. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge your bravery and commitment. You've taken an important step in understanding and transforming your relationship with fear, and that's something to be incredibly proud of. Here's a quick recap of the steps you've taken to empower yourself. Module 1, what is this fear? Module 2, fear versus reality. Module 3, facing the fear. Module 4, calm in the storm. Module 5, rewriting your fear. You've unlocked powerful tools to reframe fear and move forward towards the life you deserve. Your growth and transformation are already in motion. If you'd like to take this even further and dive deeper into personal coaching, I'd love to support you on your journey. You can reach out directly for one-on-one coaching sessions or book through my website. I look forward to continuing this path of growth, healing, and empowerment with you. You've got this.